Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Redheads included or not, today we're going to be diving into the Four Horsemen traveling show exclusive Legendary Warrior. If Saturday morning cartoons fueled your imagination as a kid and powers your action figure collecting now as an adult, then you're in the right place. Thanks for stopping by and welcome to Saturday Morning Toy Collector. And if you like my content, please consider subscribing. Over the past year, Articulated Empire has become your trusted online retailer. They carry all the latest lines like Mythic Legions, Valiverse, AWOC, Zesray Studios, and much, much more. They ship your items quickly and securely. You'll be quite happy with how Steve and his team follow through with their care and attention. Articulated Empire also offers free shipping over $75 and no tax except for Illinois residents. So head over to articulatedempire.com today and build your empire. And here we go. We have the package here for the Legendary Warrior, the female version. Now this is going to be a counterpart to last year's traveling show exclusive, which went around to all the shows with the Four Horsemen, being the male version of this. And on the back of his card, where it said, you know, barbarians had been a staple in high fantasy since the earliest days, there was an allusion to that, where to her, where it said, and some legends tell that he has been seen walking with a female. So we've all kind of expected this figure to be coming, and boy, were we not expecting the sort of like a little bit of controversy between the two heads that were hand removed by everybody at the Horsemen to make this figure possible. We're not going to get into that. Greg and I did a live stream on Double Jointed one Saturday morning where we went all into the lady who lost her mind and flipped out and crashed out on social media. But I got to tell you, this choice, whoever chose to run the blonde photograph on this card art, probably saved this figure and is the reason why it was actually released this year, because had this hair been red, that's not a simple change. You can always take the red heads out, but you can't change this little card insert so easily. They would have had to have reprinted the card art and then reinserted each one, and I'm pretty sure this figure would not have been made available at ZoloCon. There is a write-up right there. If you want to pause it and give it a read, you certainly can. I will not subject you to my reading of that super fine print. There's the background. If you want to pause it and give it a read, you certainly can. We've got some silver foil stamping right up here on the logo and the Horseman logo. So there's a look at everybody who's made this figure possible. So let's get her opened up and see what all the fuss is about. All right, we do have a lot to look at, so let's get after it. First things first, we got a couple of bangles and bracelets here that are sort of, you can sort of customize this warrior and make her what you want. So we've got one that's got some braids all the way around it, a gold one here with some indentations, a little silver and a little gold or bronze jewel at the top. We have that. We have two additional, like we have a gauntlet here with some silver and gold paint on it, and then another bangle with a new design on there that looks really nice. She does come with two hands, gripping hands on horizontal hinges. The ones on her in the package are on vertical hinges. She comes with two styles of pauldron. So we have the smaller profile metal pauldrons right here that we have seen before on like elves and things like that, which is pretty cool. Which is really nice, very low profile. And then two of my favorite pauldrons of all time, the leather pauldrons. And the reason that these are all the same as we've seen before is because this is a 1.0 female, which, whether you count her or Nieve from Rising Suns as who got who first, you can determine like which one was actually released first. If you got Nieve in hand first because you did an all-in from 4 Horsemen, then you can say that all these parts were from Nieve, or vice versa. If you went to Zolocon and you got this figure first, like me, then yeah, this is the first time seeing a fully female 1.0 figure. We do have the same sort of fur cloak that we've seen before. I believe we saw this with one of the figures. Let's see, who was it? Was it Waltor the Mad? Came with this that you slide one arm in. I think we saw it with the female skeleton figure. You've got some kind of paint and worn muck down there on the bottom, making it look old and distressed and dirty, which is really cool. You do get 3 insanely cool weapons, all brand new weapons. We have this new dwarven sword, which might be coming with the Rising Suns Exiles Under the Mountain dwarf 2-pack. I'm not sure. I don't have those in hand, so I can't really speak to that. But yeah, that sword looks really good. You do get this really dope axe with the woven bands, and then the wraps down here on the bottom, brown and gold, just looks beautiful. And then we have this sword again. This hammer. I'm not sure if this is not with the Exiles Under the Mountain pack. I'm not sure who it comes with. You can take this off, and you have different heads, of course, you can put on here. But just look at the intricate detail, sculpt, line work, paint, the bronze, the silver. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So beautiful. So beautiful. And then you do get 2 heads. We would have gotten 4, but official Red Sonja Inc. Or limited, or whatever the social media account is for Red Sonja, that lady crashed out epically online, threw a massive hissy fit, and the end result was 2 of the red heads had to be pulled out, but we'll see them in a Cosmic Legions head pack later down the line. And these are larger 1.0 style female heads. So, a bit larger than female heads we've seen before. And boy, they are both just striking. Sherry did a beautiful job painting these up with the delicate makeup work and the beautiful eyes. And I'm sure the larger heads made her job so much easier. And these just look gorgeous. All right, so let's take a look at the warrior here. She is looking pretty cool. And again, as somebody who does not have, I only have 1 Rising Suns figure in my possession, and that is Manisha. I traded for her at Zolocon, and so that is the only one. I don't have Nieve in hand. I don't have the dwarves or the Exiles Under the Mountain dwarven 2-pack, so I don't know what belongs to Nieve and what belongs to the dwarves and what comes from somebody else. I'm not sure, but I'm just going to be taking a stab at it in the dark here. But this is a fully new female 1.0 body, head to toe. This is looking fantastic. I don't believe we've seen one of these before, and therefore that is why we were getting the bigger arms, the bigger legs, and the head. So let's take the head off, because we know what that head looks like. And we take a look at the body underneath. You've got the ball peg on a disc hinge, so you're going to get that extra range of mobility in the neck. You've got that really nice like chest armor, if we want to call it, like sort of like a corset style armor with the leather folds, what looks to be like a wolf right there in the middle, some fur and some cloak clasps right there. I think that looks really cool, and you can see how it goes on the back to sort of simulate where the any kind of attachments would go, which is pretty nice. She also has this dwarven style belt. Let's get the arms out of the way. There we go. Tight joints. So you have this dwarven style belt with the plates going all around and some sort of like bearded man face there on the front. You do have these 2 little, slots for swords to go into. These are kind of useless really for the weapons she comes with, other than the sword, would fit in there. But the axe and the hammer are really not. It looks nice around her waist, sitting low, which is pretty cool. But you do have these plates that go around, soft and rubbery. This plate is held on with the bum hole, so you can see how it's got a little plug, it's got a little bum hole, and yeah, you just kind of like sort of line it up and it'll pop in, and that's how that lower plate is held on. You've got this nice kind of like dragon scale sort of loincloth piece here, and then down here you do have the fur-lined leather boots with the exposed knee going into it, so that's really cool. And so that is kind of like an overview of the body and the armor. Now, as far as the articulation goes, you've got full rotation. Arms can go all the way out and hit that T-pose. You have a single joint at the elbow and rotation. You can see how far it's going to only get to just a hair above 90. You've got a hinge and swivel depending on which hands you put on the figure. Now, with this figure, you do have this new style of there's no chest cut, diaphragm cut. You just get that singular ball at the waist, which also can rotate as well. Taking her off the stand, you can get the legs to go all the way up, go out to the side, and then kick backwards all the way, which is always nice. That bum plate falls off quite a bit. You can see how the leg is engineered so you get some rotation at the top without a thigh cut, and then you do have the hinge, single hinge on the knee. Because of the way it's designed, rotation there, rotation at the top of the boot, nicely hidden, and then a hinge and forward facing pin down here and some swivel, and that boot, the foot actually comes out fairly nice, very easily. So as far as like customizing her, we can put, you know, the bracelet on, then probably like another bangle. Let's put her hand back on, and then on this arm, let's go ahead and give her the bracer, sort of the gauntlet arm. Put that on. Why not? Go ahead and just give her that as well. Just put it all on. And then let's get this plate back on. It's kind of like once it pops off, it wants to kind of like continue to pop off. I've noticed I was handling one over the weekend and it came off quite easily. As far as, there we go. Now, as far as the cloak, like I said, if you're wondering how this works, if you haven't ever had one, it really just kind of goes over the arm like this. And then the arm pokes through, and then it just kind of drapes over one shoulder. And that's kind of like how this cloak works. So you're going to have a, you know, something like that. If you want to go ahead with the included Saleh helmet, I don't know if it's pronounced Saleh or Salet. This is a really cool helmet, one of my favorites. So you can give her a helm if you'd like. I'm sure any other 1.0 helmet will work on here just as nicely. But then popping that off, you can put on either one of the heads, and you know, there you have it. If you want to see like what one of the pauldrons looks like, let's go with the smaller of the two. Let's put one of these on. There we go. And then head on, and there you have it. There is what she is. Very nice, nicely kitted out figure. She's looking pretty beefy. Now let's see. I do want to like pop this head off just for a second, because for comparison, I would like to kind of put her down right here and bring in her fellow traveling companion, the traveling show exclusive from last year, which is the legendary barbarian. And you can see just how, I mean, she's kind of taller than him, which is kind of wild. She's a little bit larger than he is, but they do look good. Skin tone's completely different, much darker on this guy than her, but yeah, she's looking pretty nice. Yeah, let's get her into some backgrounds and into some lighting, see how she poses up. Controversial head exclusions aside, this is a fantastic release. I'm loving seeing females in this 1.0 body style. I think It just, the proportions are nice and they're pleasing. I love the parts reuse here. Like I said earlier, someone like me who doesn't have Nieve in from the Rising Suns wave, this is, my first time laying hands on some of these parts, and I'm in love with this figure. Now, I've got two versions of her. I've got two figures. I can have her displayed in like two completely different ways. And then when I get the red face paint heads in that Cosmic Wave heads pack later in the year, or however we end up getting that, I'll just throw one of those heads on here. I don't need any more. Two's good for me. I'm not an army builder, but two is good for me. Two distinct looks for this figure is great. I love all of the weapons that we get here. The hair color choices, like I said, controversial, heads excluded. I think this is a home run, and one that definitely should not have been marred with the controversy that followed it. Just absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think about this release in the comments down below. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Be sure to check out our podcast across the Toyverse, wherever you download podcasts, and be sure to check us out over on Instagram at Saturday Morning Toy Collector. I am your Saturday Morning Toy Collector, Mark, and I'll see you in the toy aisles.